Okay, I already just realized don't have a measuring tape, but you know what, that'll be okay. I think I must have left the one that I usually use somewhere, because I used to just have it in this bag all the time. But either way, yeah, my arms have come along, freaking, let's just say they've been on a long journey. I'm not totally certain how big my arms were around back as a beginner, back as a 160 something pounder, probably bordering that 14-15 inch mark. And now, well, actually, I'm not even totally sure. I haven't really measured them for a little bit, but cold, they should be right in that 19 inches. I'm not at 20 inches cold yet. That's a big step, but pumped, I've gotten close. But I don't think I've ever broken. I'm trying to remember. I feel like if I did ever measure my arms and they were above 20 inches, I would have remembered it. But either way, what do I attribute that arm growth to? You know, is it heavy, close grip bench, like we hear so many people kind of rave about? Is it weighted chin-ups, like a certain Menser potentially might advise? Yeah, not so much, man. I mean, even from the beginning, my exercise choices, they haven't really changed much. And I don't think it's because I'm trying to keep them stale. It's just there's not that much to do, you know? I'm talking, right when I started, I was doing rope extensions, straight bar, skull crushers, machine dips, things of that nature. And it's like, has anything really changed? Not really. Part of my form has definitely changed. I think my triceps are starting to get a little bit of extra beef onto them because I've improved the way that I hit them. A lot more like full range of motion, all the way to the top of the stretch position, especially on like D handles and even straight bar, but mainly with the rope. I mean, if you go back a year and a half, the way, yeah, maybe a little longer than a year and a half, but the way that my tricep extensions looked with a rope were incredibly different. And I think I was missing out because in my mind, I'm always thinking, all right, heavier, harder, as quick as possible, in a sense, right? Because it's like if you're using the heavy weight, if you move it around faster, then you're accelerating it faster, you're exerting more force. You know, that was kind of part of my logic. But what that led me to do was just pretty much, was just pretty much like nasty bouncing like rope extensions and straight bar push downs where I didn't even get to 90 degrees as like an arm angle. Part of that was because, you know, I'd see old training clips of just massive ass bodybuilder characters where they were doing the same style, not full range of motion, moving a lot of weight around. And for me, like, my checklist of, okay, is this working, was kind of getting hit, you know, because I do heavy heavy push downs with a lot of weight. You know, I wouldn't do complete range of motion. I'd be kind of a little bit lower. Like, I don't think my range of motion was ever too egregious, but it was certainly not like, you know, a complete stretch, because I was just trying to move around as much weight as I could freaking muster, which made my triceps sore, made them pumped. So it's like, I mean, this shit's working, you know. But I'm not sure how long it's been, at least a year or so, but my tricep training has changed dramatically. Just like how I like a lot more light squeezing hamstring work, at least thrown in, same thing with triceps. So I mean, I'm almost always starting with rope or single arm cable or underhand something or other, light with a good squeeze on the bottom. And then, you know, I might move on to some nastier pumpish looking reps later on down the workout, but at least in the beginning, that's always kind of done me well. So if I could give you any tips to potentially, or at least any kind of things to look for in your own training, triceps, that stretch is where it's at. Plus the overhead stretch as well. So that's where, I mean, later today or later tonight, I'm definitely going to be doing some overhead cable extensions, plus a certain overhead tricep extension machine. Actually, I totally forgot that that's even in here, so I get to use that too. Yeah, that's nice. And well, I guess I'll talk about that machine later on once we're actually using it. But once I've started leveraging a bit more of a deep stretch in tandem with my regular kind of sets, I've definitely seen a benefit of my tricep training specifically. Because when I only do the reps down here, it's a lot of short head and kind of medial head. But when I do overhead extensions, or I really do a slow, torturous set with the rope, haven't drank the pre yet, I really feel the thick, kind of longer head down here, if you know what I'm saying. And biceps I've had a little bit more luck with. Nothing dramatically fancy about the bicep training. You know, heavy curls, some light squeezing curls, bicep bias, underhand chin-ups, or I guess pull downs, kind of like that weighted chin-up, and just a variety. Because for me at least, I think my biceps are a bit more versatile in terms of their response to training. So it's like, as long as I'm hitting them hard, even if the workouts are just 7 sets of heavy dumbbell curls, I've seen reasonable progress. But that's not to say I'm trying to limit myself and not improve my bicep training either. So it's really just kind of an experiment of workout. Is what you're doing working? And if it's not, maybe just try to tweak something. But don't everybody's got we've all got our certain training opinions, so don't just try to pick the ones that at least make the most sense to you, and then go from there. And then if you start to see, you might have broken past a new plateau, or you're seeing a little bit more improvements, or you're just having more fun with your training, badass, right? That's what we're all kind of aiming for. Because even something just as simple as, oh, I kind of like this workout style more than this, or I like these sets more than whatever. Having a bit of a more I don't want to say positive mindset, but if you just enjoy what you're doing more, you're gonna perform dramatically better in the long run. We all had a favorite class back in school, and the one that you liked was almost certainly the one that you did the best at. And the ones that you didn't really like, or just didn't click with you, odds are, even just subconsciously, you probably pulled back a little bit on the gas because you didn't really love it, you weren't really getting into it. So that's where it's not even so much of just like a objective, what kind of training are you doing, is that training effective? It's also, how much can you resonate with it? Because if I know I'm about to do a heavy set of dumbbell curls, and for me, that gets me excited, I'm like, oh yeah, come on. And I've got some kind of music playing, and I'm really just about to get freaking amped, I can almost guarantee I'm gonna kill it. Whereas, maybe if someone told me to do some random funky whatever, I might not be able to get in the zone as much, But that's just sort of my take on the matter. Some guys love to have all their training completely written out detail by detail for them, and then they don't have to worry about trying to think about which one to do next, and they can just focus on following the program. Which, either way, the process doesn't matter. It's kind of a ends justify the means type situation. So it's whoever's making the most progress is the guy who's he's got the best routine, because it's a for him by him kind of basis. But no more chatting. Let's just get in there and get this first arm pump of the damn new space. I think tomorrow I might end up branching out. I gotta see some more people, and then we're still social creatures. I can't just be a total hermit forever. But I do like the privacy sometimes, because when there's nobody around you, there's no social norm to keep up. So if I want to just fucking scream and like just get nuts on a set of dumbbell pullovers, or machine pullovers, I'm probably a bit more likely to get into a more sort of guttural state when nobody's around to judge me. And usually I would think I don't even have that kind of perception where I'm like thinking about what anybody around me is thinking about me, but you always do to some degree. So that's one benefit of just having more of a personal kind of home space, and really kind of get after it. Plus you can kind of see what you're made of, right? If there's nobody around to watch you and kind of so there's no pressure to, okay, everybody's in here, I gotta do a set that looks like I fit in. It's kind of going to tell you whether or not you really want to kill it. That's at least how I would think about it back when I had the home gym in my parents' basement. But either way, no more talking. Let's get started. I'm warm, feeling pretty freaking fresh, and I think I want to change it up a touch. Usually I'm inclined to do all triceps, all biceps, but for today, kind of want to do a little back and forth action. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I might even want to do just one after the other. Well, how about this? I'm going to start with 2 sets of triceps, then 2 of biceps, and go from there. Then first tricep movement, single arm rope extension. Like I was saying in the car, I don't want to get to 90 and then just keep muscling it down here. I want a full stretch all the way up to the top. And as you'll notice, or maybe you won't notice, but now I'm going to tell you so you might. Failure is going to happen here. This will be my sticking point. Because if I'm rotating around my elbow, right, basically it feels the lightest at the bottom. And as I get to 90, this is the heaviest. Because this force from the cable is the furthest away it can get from my elbow. That's like maximum tension. So I can do the rep, do the rep, do the rep. And as I get weak enough, I won't be able to get past that point. Because if I can just barely get past it, then it starts to lighten and I can finish the rep. But that's kind of the sort of the failure curve. Like same with the curls. I'm not going to fail down here. I'm going to fail when I can't get past this 90-degree barrier. But I think those will be the first 2 movements. Single and push downs, regular heavy dumbbell curls, then just go from there. Right side first. I go a little heavier. Oh, God. Oh, that might have been too heavy. But that's good for a starter. Oh, goodness. Oh. So that's why I only did the right side first. I couldn't get 10 with the right. So that was real failure. I probably could have got maybe 1 or 2. But I want my right tricep to catch up to the left. Left side's a little beefier. But 1 more. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a perfect 2 starters. Let's warm up and then decide how heavy this first set of curls should be. 65s makes sense. Okay. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's get some overhead triceps down next. One more set where it's 2 of each, and then the rest of our arms will just be back and forth until fully pumped. Yeah, this will be good. So there's not much squeezing happening at the top of this rep, because at the top, I mean, you're just holding it extended. What I'm really aiming for is that like fatigue weakening effect of the bottom of the rep. So it'll look a little more slow down here, quicker at the top, because this negative and full stretch pulling my arm back, that's the sweet spot here. And I'll move back to a regular push down later, and that'll be more conventional when we get squeezed at the bottom. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. Whoa. One more. Let me raise this seat a little. There we go. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Okay. Let's move on. Incline bench sort of stretch curls. So honestly, this is very similar. Well, it's a little different. It's kind of hard to make like comparisons of a tricep movement to a bicep movement, but this is a really good squeeze on top and a really big stretch at the bottom. So it's almost like there's a few different criteria for sets. It's like, is it stretch based? Is it squeezing based? And can you go heavy or light? This is awesome stretch, awesome squeeze. Have to go a little lighter. I'm going to curl the 45s for this. Whereas something like with the dumbbell curls, pretty reasonable stretch, not a crazy squeeze because I'm not sitting here holding it, but a lot of weight, so a lot of mechanical tension. So I guess it's almost like I'm trying to make sure a lot of the sets I do lift by lift hit different sets of those criteria. Like that overhead extension, like I went heavy, but it was mainly a stretch, not so much of a squeeze like I'll get on the bar push downs. But no more talking about that. Let's get locked in for these. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god, okay. Holy crap. Oh, all right. Now let's just alternate. Push down, curl, as many as necessary until fully pumped. Then we can pose down and roll. Lift going rather splendid so far, if I say so myself. Heavy straight bar push down. And right on the opposite side of this cable is the next movement. A mystery, if you will, so see if you can guess it. But yeah, so I've done the heavy-ish and squeezing. Honestly, that first tricep movement is pretty much perfect. Heavy squeezing and a really good stretch with those single arm D handles. So this is a little more heavy with kind of building up fatigues from the pumpness of the reps. Like I'm not going to sit here and do a slow eccentric and like a 1 second hold. I might do that for the next one. But this set, heavy, move the weight around, go to failure. Nothing too complicated. Oh my gosh. Oh. Whew. Yeah, I think this will be the finisher. So just a few more of these as we're going back and forth right over there. Yeah, nothing beats a straight ass set, man. Let's curl something. So I've been inspired by an old machine that I used to freaking love. Now, it wasn't like a jerry-rigged setup like this. Like, it was an actual seat preacher pad with 2 cables at the bottom, meant for cable preachers. And frankly, I freaking loved it because I could really load a lot of weight, but I didn't feel like it was going to rip my biceps off at the bottom. And half the reason for that is with a dumbbell preacher or an easy bar, right? The force is always straight down, right? Gravity loaded. So at the bottom, it's trying to pull your arm all the way past hyperextension. We've seen the videos. I wish I hadn't. But a setup like this with the cable, the force is always just being pulled straight to where the cable is. So even if I completely relax at the bottom, it's not pulling my hand down, it's just pulling my hand out, right? So I can go full kind of range of motion without worry of, like, you know, let's just say incident. I don't even want to say the words, but that's the plan here. I tried 110, a little hefty. Let's do 80. Let's stick with, oh no, actually 70 felt good. Okay, no, what am I thinking? Let's up it to 80. But I bet somebody broke that machine because it was at the Y that I go to. Oh man, I miss it. They also used to have this really cool, like, it's kind of a funky looking hack squat because it's a machine. The pad is like rounded. It's like a Life Fitness thing. Well, somebody else have broke that too. But either way, no more talking. Let me pick a song and get this set going. Yeah, fast lane. Loving it. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right, let's run these two back a few more times. And we're getting somewhere. I'm nearly fully pumped, but not there yet. So let's keep going. I can just make these supersets now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. One more. But instead of these preachers, I'll just do seated curls with a straight bar. Yeah, let's just say we're getting pumped, but don't take my word for it. We'll actually see how we're looking in just a minute. Yeah. 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 No. Yeah. 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 Do it. Do it. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oops. Go a little heavier. All right, actually, I'll take a second. Even though they're opposing muscle groups, still took a little wind out of me to do that set of triceps. Oh my goodness. All right, let's pose down. See how just arm pump is looking. Ugh. All right, so I need to order, well actually I don't need to order, I've already ordered some fancier lights to put up here. But that one yesterday, or in the last lift on chest, that wasn't mine. That was one of the Arsenal guys when they came in and we all kind of did the install, so had to order my own. So if you're a photography type character and you know anything about that stuff, I'd love some more recommendations. Because I mean, this space will be able to look insanely different with fancier lighting. And I'm not a lighting technician, so I only know what I'm doing to make my pose downs look freakier. Not exactly to make the space look freakier. But either way, this is reasonably freaky on its own. So I'm feeling like a total beefcake, especially in this kind of real, just perfect downlighting. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, arms pumped. I've got a new idea of some extra fancy movements and setups that I might not have thought of before. Nothing else to do but go home and eat. So let's get out of here. All right. Before I discuss anything else, that was sweet. That was rather nasty. Like, I mean, obviously looking myself in the mirror, but then also looking at the clip of some of those poses with just the extra freaky 1-point beam spotlight. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. That's extra cool. But one thing I'll say before I say what I was about to say, don't get attached to that, right? Freaky ass pump, freaky ass lighting, very controlled, like hyped up environment. You literally just took pre-workout to get yourself extra veiny with all the the vasodilation and everything else. Plus, odds are you're a little bit sweatier in the pose down, so you've also got a little bit of that kind of shine effect too. I mean, that's every factor to make your pose down look nuts working in your favor. So if you get attached to that look, and if every time you look at yourself in the mirror throughout the rest of the day, you think, man, why don't I look like what are you talking about? Why don't you look like you do when you did in the gym? Those 5 freaking reasons listed above, man. You know, it's just it's a temporary state of being. And that's what gives it its value. If everybody was completely pumped all the time, then nobody would be pumped all the time. That would just be normal, right? The idea of a pump wouldn't even exist. So it's the fact that it's fleeting which makes it beautiful, right? That's what adds its intrinsic value in my mind. But no, what I was about to say was, yeah, dead silent gym, and that's not gonna freaking work. I gotta add some, we gotta get some background music up in that biatch. What do you think? You know, like how, you know how you're playing Pokemon in every different, I forget, not region, but, well, it's like every different route and every different path has its own sound, like a 3-minute loop. Yeah, maybe I should have that. Where the car has its own sound, the gym has its own sound, the pump down. Yeah, maybe not exactly like that, but no, I'll bring something in so we can get some stuff. The only thing that kind of sucks though is with any good music, it's immediately copyright claimed, right? So I can't put anything that's like actually heat on the speakers in the videos. So there's places with some copyright free kind of stuff, but it's not the same as like a regular Spotify playlist. So, you know, we'll see. But I'll get some kind of sounds back there too. So that'll kind of ease the unnaturalness. Because yeah, it's kind of freaky in there. It's like it's haunted almost. But yeah, I'm getting excited for next week. That's when the mirrors are going to be delivered. So instead of that, just, you know, scrappy set of like, you know, house mirrors that I got temporarily over there, real kind of wall mounted actual flat panels that'll be on both sides. So it'll kind of give it a little more of a sort of infinity mirror kind of look, because you'll be able to see the reflection of the reflection of the reflection of the reflection back and forth. Yeah, that'll be good. But until then, I'll be all right. But yeah, tomorrow for legs, we'll just have to see, because I'm still kind of easing into really heavy pressing. So, you know, I don't need to only go there every lift, nor do I really want to. You know, I still got to branch out and go to kind of separate gyms with different machines too. So I think tomorrow I'll get back to more of a regular schedule, go somewhere else. But yeah, once that hip press gets here, that's going to be exciting, because that's got to be my favorite leg piece, at least in terms of quad pressing, right? Like compared to like if I had nothing else, only a leg extension and then one machine as a quad press, yeah, that hip press is freaking sweet. Something about it, it's no glutes, all quads, and it feels good on my knees because it's lighter at the bottom than it is at the top. So the portion of the rep where you would have the most tension and just like, you know, force right in my freaking knees, that's where it actually eases up a little. So just it's just something which it's a little bit tricky to explain, but if you're kind of aware of like the mechanics of how certain movements move, then you would kind of get what I'm saying, right? Like what I was talking about, how I fail right when I hit 90 degrees on the tricep pushdowns because that's the heaviest portion, or you know, like how some machines have that lever which sort of acts as like a pulley for the cable, and how it's not totally round. Sometimes it has like a bit of a, you know, like kind of nautilus sort of shape to it, so it's lighter during one portion of the rep and heavier at the top. Or the machines where the weight pivots instead of just moving up and down on a rail. If you can start to think about like, okay, wait, just how does this machine work, and get a good grasp of it in your mind, then I think that's going to help you actually pick certain movements and kind of make your own workouts based on, you know, how you're kind of feeling that day. And I don't mean feeling like, well, I'm feeling pretty good, I'm feeling happy. I mean feeling like okay, are my shoulders feeling strong? Just objectively, like how recovered and fresh do I feel? Because if I were to come into a chest day and maybe for whatever reason I was a little dehydrated, rest, you know, let's say I didn't get awesome sleep, or maybe I was busy with something else, or I had to just whatever, and I didn't feel 100%, then I wouldn't want my first few working sets to be pushing it 100%, at least in terms of heavy weights. So if I feel like my sort of recovery might be a little hindered, not enough to warrant a rest day, but enough to maybe, ease back on the gas, at least in terms of the amount of weight I'm moving around, then that might cue me, instead of doing dumbbell press, to do like maybe light squeezing cable press or flies or pec deck, or just anything else which would feel like it's actually more conducive to a good workout that day, right? Because we're always talking, what's the best this, what's the best, should I have the incline bench at 30 degrees or 45 degrees, or should I only do, and some things like that, there are answers, but for the most part, it's not necessarily that you should be looking for an answer. You should be just trying to analyze your own situation, and then the answer will reveal it, right? It's not so much, okay, let's go, if I'm going to scan for some old t-shirts at Goodwill, which frankly, I haven't had a Goodwill trip in a little while. I need to kind of revamp. Some of these are getting a little rough, like this one, the holes in the... But either way, it's not so much that I'm looking for a shirt where I'm like, okay, everybody likes this shirt. This is a popular looking shirt. All right, that means it must be good. Sheep mentality much? No, man, I'm scanning around. I'm like, okay, what do I think is going to work for me specifically? And it's going to differ between, multiple guys, right? Now, of course, there's some shit where basically everybody's going to look at it and say, that's a badass shirt. Swipe, right? And then there's some stuff where it might be a little more niche to you, and you're like, dude, this is the perfect shirt for me, So that's where you got to have a bit more potentially independent thought, because what are you trying to live up to everybody else's expectations and just fit in the mold, right? If I was just trying to fit in the mold of the average kind of just interests and like daily activities of, let's just say, guys my age in the States, I mean, what percentage of guys are going nuts in the gym on the regular like I like to do? Not a ton, right? So if you've got something you're interested in and you want to get better at it, and just like, not even you want to get better at it, you just like to do it, like actually doing it for its own sake, that's the fun part. If somebody kind of dogs on you for it, now of course I don't get dogged on for lifting anymore, kind of because just, with how big it is, it just doesn't happen. But back when I was 160, 170 pound scrapper, I was going to school, and I'd wear I'd have like a hoodie, and underneath I'd always have a tank, because I was lifting in tank tops at the time. That was way back, but it was like my thing. Like and not everybody's always into it. Back when I was middle of high school, I think 2016 was like a spike in the fitness interest. Probably the 2014, 2016, there was a bit of a spike, and then I think there was a little bit of a lull, and then around that 20, what do you think? Because I think right now we're everybody is freaking working out, which is awesome. But in terms of like the overall interest, like if fitness had a matching stock that kind of floated around with how many people were interested in talking about it, I think there was a little bit of a dip, and then I would imagine that COVID kind of spiked it back up again, because everybody had a lot more time on their hands, and it's like, shit, man, not doing anything else, maybe do a little home workout, right? Maybe just do some whatever, just to get yourself moving. So I think that that is never a bad thing, right? More people interested in the gym, more people talking about the gym, more people posting about the gym, and then the more people that are posting about it, the cooler kind of characters are just going to pop out of the woodworks like you never freaking expect. And then that fires up people who will watch them and get hyped up to do their own lifts. And it's just like this positive feedback loop, How long ago was it that, I can't even. Well, I mean, it was before my time, right? I wasn't there for, back in like 2000 where the gyms were a lot grungier. Like I would have, at least from what I hear, like the actual like a regular gym, getting membership and everything else. Like I'd say gyms used to be more likely to be grungy and hardcore than casual, and now it's kind of the opposite. You're looking for a grungy gym, whereas most, any kind of corporate whatever, usually a little more kind of regular style populace, which is just the nature of having more people working out. So as far as I'm concerned, that is sweet. But so now I guess there's not so much of a barrier to entry, but in a way there still is. I mean, people, especially I was just talking to Brad Holt when we were putting in all the all the Arsenal machines and everything, and there's I'd say there's a few situations, especially if you're a younger guy, you're still living with your parents, where breaking out of the mold of where you might have been kind of brought up, like if nobody in your family works out, nobody really cares about their diet, they're not really taking, I don't want to say health, because I'm not necessarily promoting health in general, right? I would definitely say I'm promoting an active lifestyle and interest in like understanding your calories for whatever your goals are with your body in terms of recompositing it and doing your cardio. Those are like my big three. Now, there's definitely health benefits that come with that, but that's really what I'm trying to push, you know what I'm saying? But we know, I mean, you know what I mean when I'm describing somebody like this, or like kind of a household like this. And, it's, the powers that be aren't helping either, because it's very easy to get into a routine. I mean, I'm kind of just speculating here, but I don't think I'm too off base, where all just microwave foods, not really any kind of regular home cooked meals, not a ton of exercise, putting your kid in front of a TV, and then that's the gist of it. So if you're that kid and you came up like that for years, and then now you're watching, all these fitness characters getting after it, everybody's having a good time, and it's like, yeah, shit, I want to start working out. You might have some trouble, and I feel for you. It's hard to break that mold, especially if maybe you start working out, because it's kind of just a human nature thing. If you start trying to kill it and take care of yourself like that, it's not uncommon for people around you to, at least in some small way, or depending on how like not cool of a person it is, in a big way, to think, what are you, better than us? You're not going to eat the same scrappy food as us? What's wrong with the food we made? What, you got a problem? So I'm not really talking from experience here. But I guess in a way I kind of am, right? My experience of that was when I was starting working out. Basically off the rip, I was like drinking mason jars full of egg whites and cans of sardines, like my so I'm getting all weird looks. There's old pictures of me like as a scrapper with a big I'm talking a 32 ounce jar, right? So it's certainly off norm, but if that's what you want to do, then you can't really take any offense, like I feel like we're getting a little I don't want to say politically correct, that's not what I'm trying to say, but it used to be if somebody made fun of you for something that you liked to do, that wouldn't even fucking affect you, because you like to do it, right? If you actually kind of, I guess I sort of want to say, like, identify with what you're doing, then anybody who has anything to say about it, it doesn't even really enter your mind with any negative connotation, right? Because, let's say somebody was a die-hard freaking artist. They love it, that's what they do. They're with a whole group of guys that are into it. It's like that little meme where it's a crowd of people like just murmuring, and then one more guy comes out, points at him and says, "Hey, what you're doing sucks." One guy pops out of the crowd, he goes, "Yeah, okay," and then they go back to doing their own thing. It shouldn't really affect you like that, right? So that's my little shtick there, right? If you like something and you want to get good at something, or you just want to do it because it looks fun, right? Do not be swayed by anybody else's kind of statements or opinions or anything else, because if you actually do let that get to you, and then for whatever reason you say, well, like let's say you were about not you, but someone was like just about to get that free summer membership that Planet Fitness does. You don't even have to pay for it. Like if you're a sub, I think it's like a 16-year-old or younger kind of thing. Like no upfront cost, no nothing. You just got to sign up. Somebody was about to do that, and then someone else in their life made a comment or made some kind of thing, and then it killed the guy's spirit and he never went after it. I can almost guarantee, maybe he might not remember that exact moment, but that will linger, right? We've only got so much time, so you should have at least a little bit of a sense of urgency if you have something you might want to do and you haven't really started doing it yet. I mean, what's stopping you, right? And I'm not asking that as an actual question, because anybody could say anything. Well, it's this. Like, what is really stopping you? What's holding you down with a damn shackle and chain, keeping you from getting after it? It's nothing physical, right? It's purely right in here in your dang cranium. And that's the one thing in the world that you've got complete control over. So, I guess my shtick is just don't let yourself get discouraged. Or try your best not to. It's not like a flip a switch kind of thing. It's something you kind of work up to over time. Right? But, I mean, it's kind of basic thoughts, but I do think that there's a lot of value in having that kind of mentality where nobody can sway you off the course that you want to go down. But either way, I'm ready to eat something, pass out, and wake up early. I can't be doing these late lifts anymore. It's throwing off my schedule. I want to actually it doesn't seriously matter, but I want to be more of a go to bed at 10 kind of guy, wake up at around 6, or maybe even a little bit earlier. I feel like you get more day when that's your routine, because it's like if you stay up extra late and you wake up late, I mean, at least for a while, especially when the winter, the sun was going down so early, like you felt like you'd miss a whole day, Plus, you do need a little bit of that UV exposure. And of course, you can supplement that by taking your vitamin D with your nightly sort of, pile of multivitamin, fish oil, and everything else. But that's for another talk. So, plan for tomorrow: legs, go as crazy as I feel I can, come home, eat some food, pass out, and repeat. And that's kind of the plan for the next, basically, probably 6 to 7 months. So, get excited.